All right. So everyone is moving on to the finals. Miami, San Antonio, they're moving on. But we need to talk about Indiana and OKC in the sense that what happens to them. Sometimes you hear things about, okay, they need to make a change, even if they made it all the way to the conference finals. Sa Indiana, people are saying, oh, dapat si Lance, tanggalin na yan, let him leave. Sa OKC, people are saying, oh, dapat palitan na si Scott Brooks, ganyan. So, what do you guys think? Let's start with the Pacers.
I think it's going to be a tough decision for them with regards to Lance Stephenson. Of course, for me lang, they just shouldn't overpay him. Feel out what the market says for him. Kasi medyo may topak rin kasi talaga siya. And at least for them, they somewhat controlled him.
They really controlled him.
Lalo na itong series na to.
Pero sanay na sila kahit pa paano. It's just interesting, how it seems like David West is like, oh, I really want him back. Yeah. And then I have the media like saying Paul George is like, parang leave it up to the management. Parang they're giving it hidden meaning to what George is saying.
Mixed signals
or
whatever.
Like, for me, it's like, no, what do you want him to say? Parang, pero ganun talaga ang media. But anyways, for me, a big decision will also be Hibbert, whom probably they already thought na he's a franchise center talaga. Sa performance niya, I don't see any franchise center. Even Dwight Howard with one shoulder na kahit sobrang linait ng lahat ng tao the year before, he's never gonna have a game. 0 rebounds, mga ganun. I mean, that's crazy. So, that's a big decision for me, si Hibbert. And medyo wala na silang nakuha sa bench nila. I don't know why they didn't want to use Turner naman. Parang ganun. So they need to add some more bench depth, I guess, and figure out their center position.
Okay. Suzy, Indiana, what can they do? What should they do?
Parang kailangan nila ng isang matinding team retreat.
Kulang yung fishing.
Hindi kasi parang if you look at them on paper and like kunyari averages nila.
Yeah.
Well, before nagbaliw si Hibbert ng konti, on paper, wow, look at those numbers.
Yeah.
But then, if you look at the backstories and the mga maliliit na vines, kagulo kayo, ano nangyayari sa inyo? So, I think, if they fix themselves, I don't know there's something wrong with the people there.
No, I mean, they went into the tailspin and then they became the most yung nakaka-imbierno na team in the entire playoffs. I mean, more than any other team, ito yung team na pag pinaparod mo, kailangan, umaga, di ba? Umaga yung game, 8 in the morning, manunod ka, kailangan umiinom ka ng scotch, naka-straw.
Hindi, totoo yan. Hindi pwedeng kape kasi iinit yung
through the nose!
Yes!
Di ba? Para lang kayanin mo na, because you just don't know what you're gonna get for every game.
Exactly. It's like, that parang all of us have that friend na has so much potential na pero ang kulit, di nakikinig sa mga advice mo.
Ayaw makinig sa advice.
Yan, sila yan. Yung Pacers, gusto mo lang utusan. Ano ba ginagawa nyo?
Ano ba ginagawa mo sa buhay mo?
Yun!
Mga ganyan, di ba?
Lalo na si Hibbert, ang sarap kausapin ng gano'n. Kasi I don't know what the heck is happening to all of them. I mean, sige, si Paul George is kind of normal. There are normal people there, but there are people na talaga...
Don't be so sure.
Don't be so sure, Paul George.
Alam mo, don't be so sure.
Compared to Hibbert and Lance.
Don't be so sure because I think as a group, they are dysfunctional. And it's not because individually may problema sila. I think as
they bring up the worst in themselves.
Maybe it's that kind of a relationship na individually okay sila. They're okay. They're cool guys. Pero pag pinagsama-sama mo sila, whatever it is, yung chemistry nila and it became so evident in the postseason na maybe they're not good for one another.
Together.
However, of course, someone can easily say, "What are you guys talking about? That team reached the conference finals again." And kung hindi medyo nagloko si Lance, maybe they could have pulled it off. Maybe. So bakit mo pupunahin? Why would you even consider fixing the team if they made it to the conference final? What would you say?
For me, they're close naman. They're really close. It's just that malas sila. Like everybody, when they have that logic, they just came at the wrong time when Jordan was there. Same thing right now. You have 3 Hall of Famers for sure. Best player in the NBA right now, LeBron James, and I think. Well, sabagay, they barely got past the Hawks. But they still did kasi medyo... They're good naman. I think maybe a little bit more patience. Just a few more pieces. I wouldn't blow up the team just yet.
I wouldn't either, honestly. I mean, for all the things I've said about Indiana, feeling ko parang, it's a little bit of tweaking and then let them learn the lesson that they learned this year. Parang give them a chance to learn from this year and apply it to next year as opposed to breaking them apart. Kasi silang conference finals.
Last year, diba, sige, parang they were much closer last year than they were.
They looked better last year. Yeah. I mean, that's for sure.
So parang bumababa yung caliber niya. Something needs to be done. I don't know if yun nga, team retreat.
Team retreat.
They need to, kailangan mag-speak in tongues ni...
Okay, alright. Let's go to OKC. Should they... Kasi everyone's talking about Scott Brooks, and I don't know if that's fair. I don't know if it's unfair, and I will let the coach answer that. What do you think?
I think he may have some share of the blame naman.
Yeah.
Kahit papano, you know, I mean... But it's also tough. You're going against one of the best coaches of all time. I think it's safe to say he was out-coached rin. But at the same time, he lost one of his best defensive players, Ibaka, for 2 games, and that's a big difference. I know they did beat them twice with Ibaka, but still, the 2 games that he played at home, they blew them out, and he would have made a huge difference talaga. I think it would have been an even closer season, and they're that close, but it's just also a testament to the Spurs again, like the Heat.
Parang malas talaga. Malas
Indiana,
Indiana
bad timing. But, you know, I could say that they have enough pieces naman eh. They have a solid starting 5, and they have a good big man in Adams, up and coming, you know, favorite boy.
Yeah, my favorite.
Then Reggie Jackson is there, and then they had a vet like Fisher, Butler. Maybe one more piece could have done the trick. You know, it was close eh. It's tough for me to just blame everything on Scott Brooks also, but you know, maybe he deserves some share of the blame. And he could have made things easier for Durant or Westbrook, or devised something better to get them going. But you know, it is what it is. He lost to one of the best teams in history also. I don't know, one of the best teams this past 15 years, and you know,
it's a long time to be one of the best teams. My
Totoo
God.
naman eh, diba? So, no shame in that.
Okay, Susie.
Get Harden back or something.
Yun lang. Kung pwede lang.
It's so dumb of them to lose him. But yeah, I agree with Charles. It's still a very good team. Kawawa nga talaga sila, no? Malas lang talaga ng Pacers.
If they sucked it up and just waited, they were worried kasi about the extension ng contract. If they just waited, Westbrook, Harden,
Sobrang
Durant,
sayang.
Ibaka.
Sobrang
One championship
sayang.
quota na yun, bahala na. At least you win one.
Until now, I'm still wondering why.
You know, that has to do with NBA economics, and you know, you have the luxury tax and all these other complicated financial thingamajigs. So you know, they had their reasons for wanting to move.
What would you do? What would you?
Ako, feeling ko kasi it's just too convenient to say, okay, you know what, the problem was Scott Brooks.
Yeah.
Let him go. Get a new coach. Wow, you get a new coach. I mean, sige, who's available? Who are you gonna get that will make you say, you know what, with this coach, we are surely going to do better? Who's out there in the market now that pwede niyong kunin? What? They're gonna make Fisher? Suddenly, the head coach? Diba? I don't know. I just feel it's so convenient. And I agree with you. I think Scott Brooks is partly to blame, as any coach is, when they lose. Diba? But to say, he has to be replaced. And if he gets replaced, that means,
win.
Better times for OKC. No, I think that's too convenient.
We've seen that. We've seen that happen in the PBA, NBA. You know, you change a coach, kala niya yun na lang yung kulang, and sometimes it becomes worse.
But I think kasi parang the problem with the burden of teams like Indiana and OKC, unlike, let's say, teams in the middle of the pack na konting improvement lang, yay, okay na tayo, we're in the right track.
Yeah.
Ito kasi mga to, ang goal nila is to win a championship. Eh. Their goal is not to almost make it to the finals. Their goal is to make it to the finals. That's why you have Westbrook, Durant, Paul George, Hibbert, so on and so forth. So, yun yung burden. The burden is, wait a minute, our goal was to win a title. What did we do wrong? And that's why they can't help but think, okay, paano natin aayusin tong lineup na ito? I look at OKC's lineup. You know, that lineup, that's going to bring you places talaga. But it's a young team. Yeah. Westbrook is learning. KD, even as an MVP, is learning.
Westbrook learning.
He's learning, bro. He's learning. He's learning, bro.
I'm his defender. I mean, people hate on Westbrook a lot, but I still say without him.
But in that last game, I was screaming at him to relax.
But
he's a kid.
Yeah, but desperate times na yun. But you know,
I think look at San Antonio. They're sticking to that core. Stick to that core. Don't move.
Continuity, yes. Which is what you see with Miami and the Spurs. So that's why, parang I don't think you just because you get disappointed, you didn't make it, you break it up.
You take out the bad character guys in your team na who are not good for your team. Change them with better.
Who would be your bad character team?
Hindi ko alam because it's hard for me. I mean, from the outside
wala
looking in, hindi ko alam eh. I mean, sa Pacers, you could say
Yes.
Lance, you could say Turner was
there.
like, you know, a distraction to them. So I don't know, but unless you're really in there, but the Thunder, parang wala namang problema ganun.
Yeah, but I think hunch lang would be there should be more movement sa Indiana because of free agent situation and stuff more than OKC.
Thunder konting tiis na lang kasi nga yung Spurs next year wala. Joke.
Ayun
na naman tayo. So we'll see and stay tuned. It should be a very interesting offseason for these teams.